What a first year it has been for the AFL Draft class of 2023. It's been highlighted by Harley Reid's early season performances, which included 19 disposals and 3 goals against Fremantle, and 21 disposals and 2 goals, including a goal of the year contender against Melbourne. But he hasn't been alone. Hawthorn small forward Nick Watson seems to have rectified his early goal-kicking woes and is an important weapon for the Hawks. Caleb Windsor running up and down on Melbourne's wing has been crucial, especially without Lachie Hunter, who's been unsighted this year, and after a bit of a slow start, Riley Sanders has been featuring regularly for the Western Bulldogs. Other later picks like Logan Morris, Harvey Thomas, Joel Frazier and Will Graham have also had impact. But the top 7 of the 2023 draft crop has achieved something that has never been seen before. Each of the 7 have been able to play at least 10 AFL games in their first season. Out of every AFL draft in history, they sit at the top. It's a fantastic sign that each of the picks have been able to play a good amount of AFL games in their first year and have also shown the potential each of them have. Using history as a comparison, all signs point towards this crop of players having a significant impact on the competition for a long time. The 2018 draft class came as close as you can without achieving the feat. The top 7 of that class had 5 players reach double-figure games, with the only players missing out Isaac Rankin and Max King, and that's because both had injuries throughout their first season. The other 5 players included Sam Walsh, Jack Lukosius, Gold Coast Ben King, Connor Rozee and Bailey Smith. It's a pretty solid group of players that have propelled well on from their debut campaigns. The 2015 top 7 had 6 players play 10 games. Essendon's Aaron Francis was the one who missed out, playing 3 games in 2016. Now listen to this group of stars. Jacob Wiedering, Darcy Parish, Callum Mills, Clayton Oliver and Jacob Hopper were in that top 7 selections. Josh Shackey, who did play in the 2021 Grand Final, was the 6th member of the 10 games plus group. And a little further in the past, the 2004 class also matched these 2 previous drafts. It was Tom Williams selected at pick 6 by the Western Bulldogs, who was the odd one out. The top 7 included 1,000 goal kicker Lance Franklin and premiership teammate Jordan Roughead, midfield guns in Brett Deledio, Ryan Griffin and Jordan Lewis, while Richard Tambling, who played 124 games for Richmond, got to 12 games in his first year. These are 3 very good top-end draft years, and if history is anything to go by, expect at least 5 of the 2023 top 7 to become top-line players in the competition. But right now, all 7 look like future stars. We have all seen firsthand the X factor of Harley Reid. He's the modern-day prototype midfield gun. He's in the mould of Petrarca, Dangerfield and Dustin Martin with his breakaway speed and power, most notably seen with the fend-off. Pick 2 was Colby McKercher. After an injury hiccup mid-season with his foot, McKercher has returned in great form. In just his 10th game of football against the Gold Coast Suns, he gathered 37 disposals and had 13 rebound 50s. He clearly has some Brent Harvey and Zach Merritt movement and smarts about him. Off the half-back line, he has also helped Harry Sheezel move further up the field. Pick 3 in Jed Walder has shown enough. No first-year key forward has ripped it up, but 9 goals is not bad. He definitely has presence and aggression, which you can't teach, and his athletic profile is very similar to Charlie Curnow. Zane Dersma played all of his 10 games in the forward line. Like Walter, he's done well to even play AFL because of his slight frame. The athletic attributes are there, and in his second game, he gave a preview of what he could become. He had 15 disposals and took 11 marks, roaming up the ground against Fremantle. At the time of making this, the last 5 games for Pick 5 and Nick Watson have been outstanding. He's kicked 6 total goals, and his player rating is just 0.1 behind Cody Waitman, ahead of Jack Ginnivan, Lockie Schultz, Josh Rochelle, and even Charlie Cameron. Everything he did as a junior has translated to the big time. The same way Cripps is hard to tackle because of his huge size, Watson is even harder to pin down because of his small frame. Now his overall conversion of 27.8% is terrible, but the first step is getting the shots on goal, which he is doing. Pick 6 and Riley Sanders is getting going. He had big preseason hype, but getting subbed off early did hurt his confidence. But he is too good for VFL level, gathering 24, 42 and 28 disposals in his 3 games at the level. 6 times he has had over 20 disposals, and the game that best highlights where his career is headed was the Collingwood match, where he had 15 touches, 4 clearances and 11 tackles. The final of the 7 is Caleb Windsor. He's played every game for Melbourne out on a wing and impressed. His speed and running power was seen instantly, and for a first-year wingman, he's had a few monster games. 18 disposals and a goal against Geelong on a wet Saturday night at the MCG, and 25 disposals and a goal against West Coast. He can perform well in any conditions and against the better teams. Overall, they are 7 different types of players who are fitting better than any other top 7 in AFL history. First year players playing lots of games is becoming a new trend. It's really no surprise, since most begin serious development and academy programs by 14 or 15, meaning by the time they are 18 or 19 and in AFL environments, it's nothing new to them. If you go through the last 10 to 12 years of AFL drafts and check out the top 10, in most of them, 6 or 7 players feature well over 10 games in their first year. But if you go to around the 2007 draft and backwards from that point, there is a drop-off. Now this isn't saying the players taken were bad, because many were champions, but noting that the instant readiness of young players has skyrocketed in the past 15 years. We are almost getting to a point like with the NFL, where college kids at 22 or 23 become instant starters and stars of that competition. It's why high draft picks might be more valuable than ever. Sure, there are always busts and flops at the top end, but with increased professionalism at young ages and more data on under 18 football than ever, scouts have never had it better. It's why it's reported Port Adelaide, for example, will trade Dan Houston for 2 first-round picks. First of all, they have no good picks in this draft and beyond, and if Harry Perriman joins from free agency, it's a like-for-like replacement. Now he isn't as good as Houston, but will fit in seamlessly, and in return the club will get 2 strong picks. Who knows if this will happen at all, but it's an example of smart business and shows a club that values picks. It's why you have to be concerned about Collingwood when President Jeff Brown recently said that the draft doesn't work. They just traded their first-round pick this year for Lockie Schultz. With an ageing list, what he is saying doesn't make a whole lot of sense, especially when their 2023 Premiership side featured Nick Dacos, Scott Pendlebury, Steele Sidebottom, Jordan De Goey, Braden Maynard and Darcy Moore, who were all drafted by Collingwood. The most recent evidence is saying drafted players have never been this good before, at least in terms of being AFL ready from day one. I think it will have an effect on club strategies going forward in terms of trading away first round selections. A lot of these young kids are instantly better than most AFL players when they walk in the door, so maybe it's not worth trading away the future for the present, because right now, the so-called future is having an impact for clubs right now. It's been a great first year for the 2023 draft class, and all signs point towards them having great careers.